morning. This is going to be a little dark for a little bit. Let's go ahead and get going here. And I'll explain while I'm doing this what my plan is and the reason why I have to do it at night. Well, this one. Come on. Come on. I forgot to hit the switch. Whoops. So it is a Saturday morning, which is why I will be talking softly but not whispering, because I do not like the whispering. And this one back here. And that should give me both of the... There we go. Okay. So, this is going to work well. Let's get the other camera angle going so I can swap between them as necessary. My goal for this is to slightly fix the recording setup as we know it. Let's put you over like here-ish. Let's knock some things around. And hope that shows everything because I can't really see it. Cool. Okay. This is the recording space. And I've made a couple of changes. And one of them that I'm trying to do right now is to fix my overhead lighting. The lighting that goes on the item, specifically. Yeah, that's really not pointed in the right direction anyway. So the problem I've had, when I originally set this up, I thought the big lights would be enough to light it up. And then I realized they were not. And we're going to need this to test it. We need to put the overhead camera on. Come on. There we go. We'll turn this on. And then we'll turn on that doesn't sound right. As long as it turns on. And then I need to turn on the switcher so that I can get an output of it on the TV, which means I'll need to turn on the TV. There we go. Now, let's see here. Is it still doing this auto brightness thing that I don't like? Or is that just as it boots up? It does have blue light to it. Hopefully you can see that from one of these camera angles. It's like, it's got built-in lights around the back that I could turn off, but they don't do anything when all the lights are going, so I'm really not too worried about it. Oh, no video signal. That is because this... Why isn't this on? It's plugged in. What have I done? I didn't realize I split up these two lights based on where they are. Why isn't this thing going? This is a problem I hadn't foreseen. Well, that's strange. Oh, it's still blinking no matter what. Don't tell me this thing is dead. I need this. Well, that's not good. That hadn't happened before. So that is a power cable that goes to my little monitor here, and all I did was move the monitor, and it was working last time, but it was plugged into a different power source. I wonder if that has anything to do with it. Let's see, let's plug it into something different. I mean, that's clearly working. I can try to plug. See if maybe that's the issue. Nope. It's just blinking. Alright, well, hopefully that power adapter didn't die, because that would be very sad. It was the only one I have like that. It's like an adjustable power adapter. Kind of a universal thing to plug in, but you know what we can do? We can put a battery in this. I just have to go get one. So, the reason, how do I do this? Excuse me. The reason that it runs through, I don't get anything on the TV, is because I am putting it through the little field monitor first, so I can see when things are in focus, which is something I have struggled with, hence why it just moved as well to the front. It was off to one of the sides, and I'd look at it when I thought about it, but not often enough would I look at it. So, that needs fixing. And then hopefully we can get to the main problem here. Okay. I don't know if the battery's charged, but hopefully it's charged enough. There we go. That is worrisome that I have a problem there with that. But anyway, this is what we're looking at here. And the reason I did it with all the lights off was so that I could get as pure of an image as possible. One of the things I'm struggling with currently, that I'm working on in this space, is light on the subject. And I'm not usually, I am and I am not the subject. I need a subject. Something with some depth to it, something with multiple angles maybe. Like, I guess a camera will do. Of course it will do. Of course. It is darker. So, this is effectively giving me almost no light on the subject. I don't know. Can you see that? I hope you can. Yeah, maybe. Maybe you'll be able to see it from over here. I'm looking, I can, for one thing, make it full screen as well. So, all the light is kind of spilling down around here. It's giving me almost nothing because these just aren't very bright. Originally, when I set it up, I tried just the big lights, which are currently off, and it just wasn't enough right directly on the item, especially from the overhead. But you'll also notice, although in reality, if we're going to do a full test, let's turn on the underside. You can see a lot of the reflections from these umbrellas here, but this was actually version 2. 3. Version 1 was no lights. Version 2 was these LED panels that I currently have turned on, just sitting right here. And they were better, but not ideal. The light's kind of harsh. And so then I put up these umbrellas, and besides the reflections on the table, they really don't provide enough light onto the object. There's almost nothing here. So how do we solve this? Well, one of my ideas is to go back to frontward facing, but because it was harsh, to use some umbrellas that are see-through, and a bit transparent, and more of a white, clear umbrella. And if I can manage it, I don't know how I'm going to do it, because what I want is more light directly on there. I think there's definitely room for one right here. I can do that, keep it off to the side, so that I can still see the TV, which is important because if I can't see the full TV, the one that goes here, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Because if I put it too high up, then I'm blocking the big lights, which provide much more light to the scenario. Realistically, I need different lighting for this. These little panels just don't really cut it. They're old. They were just some panels, and that's the theme of everything here, isn't it? It's use what you've got, especially because it's left over. Well, using what I've got, not the most ideal situation. And that brings me to the other thing that I can talk about for today. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and get this off by bringing you down. Why am I doing it so early? So that there would not be any light polluting from, and that's been my other issue, is that all of the, all the times I record mostly, and all the times that I do a lot of this stuff happens to be during the day, and so that's why it's 5 a.m. and I'm doing it on a Saturday when I was not going to plan to go out. I'm testing the light to see how that works. So doing it on a Saturday when I was not planning on going out, and then let's start with that one over there actually. The only other thing I gotta do today is edit because I went out last weekend and I have not gotten to the editing for that. It would also be nice to get this, which is currently all wrapped up. It's not the most ideal scenario here. I'd like to be able to get new lights for this place, but it is what it is currently. And what we can talk about is the next thing that we'll upgrade in this. Let's see. First of all, it's a bit hard. I don't know how I'm going to edit this. Let's put you over here first of all. And let's do this. So at work, right? We are not getting a Christmas bonus, that's for sure. An end of the year bonus because sales are down and have been the entire year. It's just not happening. And that's been made very apparently clear. It's a bummer, but it wasn't something I was counting on, because I could very easily see how that's going to be the place. So, it is what it is. It's a bummer. Let's see if we can't switch out to one of these bad boys. But what I am going to do is cash out my PTO, my paid time off, because besides taking a week at Christmas to New Year's is typically my vacation. I've made that my pretty regular historical time of year that I am off. For a couple years running now, that has been my vacation. I schedule that, I take that. We actually went on a trip the first time I did it, because there are scheduled days off and it's not just like a previous job. And so I can do things during that time, and over the last few years since we moved, I have used that time for wildlife photography, etc. And I think I might be doing the same this year. But cashing out of the PTO, that is going to net me, not a bonus, but it's about as close to a bonus as I can consider. It's going to get me about $500 cash in my pocket. Not cash, direct deposit. But anyway, it's $500, which made me think, oh, okay, how best can I spend that? Well, I looked around, I considered it. Obviously, paying off debt would be the smart thing to do, but I'm not that smart. And I like to spend money in ways that are fun. This is hardly putting any light on here at all. Not doing it. Okay. So anyway, $500, right? Well, I considered it's not enough to get like a lens. It's not enough to buy a new camera or anything really good like that where I could use it for that stuff. Where am I currently lacking that could use an upgrade? Let's see about putting it closer. I really need to cable manage everything down in here. Whoops. Okay, let's see. Does that do anything? It sure doesn't. It sure doesn't. It just doesn't. Man, I was really hoping that was going to be enough to put a bit more light on the subject. So the umbrellas aren't going to work. Well, I guess we're back to lights just right down near the edge pointing there. I don't like that. Until we can get more powerful small lights. I guess I'll have to do that at some point. Alright. Well, I guess that solves that question and answer this morning. It's probably been 10 minutes. That light's going to turn off soon. Anyway. So what am I suffering in? Well, I wouldn't... I don't know if suffering's the right word there to use, but what's lacking? What needs improving? Where could that money best go? Now, I did have a goal that I achieved, thankfully. If you remember, have been following for a bit, earlier this year, during the summer, I really like what I've been doing for the wildlife, for the going outside stuff with the Sony camera that I've been using. It's lighter, it's easier to use, it's good for photography specifically, but they make an even better one. And I bought myself a new Sony camera, which has been incredible. Incredible. Really happy about that. And my plan for that, the reason I allowed myself to do that was because I could pay it off over time. But at the time, I had thought I'd be getting more contract work because it was talked about. However, as I mentioned, it's also through my job. I do both contract and regular employee work. And because sales are down, they kind of put a spend freeze on some stuff that is not 100% necessary, and photos and videos that I do, they just never got around to it, and I also have a feeling that we didn't want to spend the money on stuff like that, so I understand. It never happened. Thankfully, I was able to pay it off over time. It just paid off fully. I've paid off that camera entirely over the course of 6 months because my entire goal has been don't put myself further into debt. Everything I'm doing has to be only with what I can scrounge up on hand. That one was a bit of a stretch. I would have been able to pay it off much, much sooner had the contract work came through, because they have all this stuff essentially waiting to send to me, but then the money situation. Anyway, I'm now in my closet. I'm looking for, where did I put them? Oh boy. Now I have to figure out where I put something, and that's not going to be easy, is it? Ah, shoot. Because I've moved it around a couple times. I'm looking for this video is thrilling, but at least I've got my audio situation. And I know I'm also kind of stringing you along here in the fact that I keep talking about, money, without actually mentioning what it is that I'm going to get. I apologize for the noise. I really thought that they were sitting out somewhere. I had them sitting out. It is for those LED light panels, which is what I'm currently using for stuff. They have little diffuser screens that go and slide in there. And I'm not using them out there because I want as much light as possible coming out of there. They are at 100%, I know that. Alright, well, shoot. I guess I'll have to find those. Oh, man. That's annoying. Because, of course, I've seen them kicking around here for months since I set up the lights with the umbrellas. And I took off the screens, and as soon as I need them again, they're somewhere else that I don't know. And they're not in the box that I expected them to be right there, which means that they are somewhere else, and they could be anywhere in here. So I'll have to dig through that on my own time. Let's at least set them up so that they're pointing where I would want them. Okay, so stop burying the lead. Let's get to it. My camera is paid off. I will have some money coming in, somewhat like a bonus, which means that I feel good about spending it on recording equipment. Which brings us to the area that I think I'm most currently lacking in. And it was kind of a two-pronged approach to this. I mean, not two-pronged, it was kind of a double. There's some light, but it's not much, is it? I think it's the problem I'm going to have, even at 100%. These light panels just don't throw enough light. They really don't. And then I hit my head on the big lights every time, because they're just at the right angle where I go to duck under them and I miss. Let's see, this one I'd rather have over here. Okay, so reasonably for $500, what could I upgrade? And so I start looking through my wish lists on different items. Gosh, that's just not, and all I'm going to do is diffuse that. All right, well, unfortunately, I've already made up my mind on what I'm getting, but I really clearly need to spend a little bit more money to put more light onto the objects, because this is just doing almost nothing. I mean, I know it's black on the top here, but like, you really can't make that out at all, and it's going to be even worse when this is on. At least the big lights provide some better, but man, that stinks. I was hoping to solve this today, and all I've discovered is that I'm running these lights for no reason. They're just not strong enough or powerful enough to put enough light onto here, even if I bump the ISO and the camera overhead. How's the other cameras look? At least, let's try that. Let's open up all my other cameras here. Alright. I promise you, I'm not really trying. I thought about it as like, oh, you know, a little, you know, this would be the main point of the video. Oh, oops, I gotta pop the battery for this. And that one turns on. There we go. Obviously, there's some. So my thought process. All right, get to the point. Get to the point of what it is you are doing. First of all, how's that look? And why is this not doing anything? Why is this one not on at all? Is it plug in? Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah. There's a reason I use the big lights. I don't know how much you can see of this. Here, I'll come over here. So if we go back to here, camera 1 is my overhead. There's just not enough light to see what it is that we're talking about today. This is okay, but it also looks terrible with the amount of light that's bouncing, and it's undiffused. This one, that's actually not bad. This is a much better sensor over here compared to the main one. But not, I mean, not this one. This one's fantastic. It's not, you know, the best, but it works. And I needed the smallest and lightest one for overhead. All right. Well, that's a disappointment. That is a disappointment. Shoot. I guess I could turn on the big lights. Get that going. But I already know what that looks like. It's not going to solve anything. So, I guess I'm going to take the rest of today and, or not the whole rest of today, but I'm going to look and see what I'm going to need to upgrade. Some smaller lights that can go in front with small soft boxes. I do have some. The other problem I suffer from is that, alright, you're all over the place. Let's try to narrow it down. We're talking about this right here for a second. And then we'll get to the main point, which I've stretched out to the end of the video now. Thank you. That was fantastic. Not what I planned. I do like having this monitor here. Okay. Light on the subject. I need to be able to show it. And if I put overhead lights, they reflect off the glass tabletop, which I did not expect. I did not think about when I first got it. I should have known that was going to happen. Oh man, how did I scratch my monitor there? That's unfortunate. I haven't noticed that before. That's brand new. And I don't think I dropped it. Huh. Because it's not on this camera, is it? No, I can see him. Man, there's a bummer. I wonder when that happened. I just moved it the other day and I didn't hit it with anything that I can recall. Dang it. Well, it's a good thing it's used for inside stuff now. Okay. Getting light onto this is difficult, clearly. All the light that it comes from is obviously just the overheads. I mean, not the overheads, my big lights. So I'm going to have to set up something here to fix this because I do want there to be enough light so that you can see what I'm looking at here. And if I bump the ISO, it just makes the whole image too bright, but I might bump it a little bit. We'll play around with it. That'll be on my own time, I guess. I'll set it up. And that was something that I thought of as like, this is the one thing, when I think about this recording space, I think about how it works well. The cameras are okay. They're all older cameras that I don't use for other purposes. Some of them have nice clean images out, which is why I use them for certain things, and other ones have like boxes around them because they're actually outputting in a 4:3 format and not a 16:9 format, which is annoying. But I don't have the money to spend on things like that, that's for sure. And I didn't think that was the best use of money. But what it will be the best use of money? Well, there's two parts to it. One, I started thinking about it and looking over wish lists to see what it was that I could reasonably for $500 upgrade to make a significant difference. Well, I can upgrade my audio, which made me think about the entire audio situation and how I could improve it. Audio, I've got a nice audio setup for when I go out to do audio. I just haven't found anywhere recently to do that, but it made me think about what I'm currently doing, the lav mic. And every lav mic I have, I'm okay with at best. It's not the most ideal, but it does work. They've always just come with whatever I've bought. So for example, I'm currently using one that has a, whoops, as a matter of fact, if I could get enough light on here, let's turn on the big lights so that I can show you. Honestly, I should be recording it at the setup as well, but that requires even more. That's a second video track to edit. That's another audio track. And then the final light. Since we might as well do the whole thing. I think I started saying earlier the reason I'm doing this at 5 a.m. is because this room is a lot of sunlight. I actually think I need to get some blackout curtains in order to be able to control the light myself. Because it does kind of sometimes overexpose me and I have to adjust it, and that's not what I want. I want a sit-down solution that just works every time. So, now, if we zoom all the way in and focus, yeah, it's just kind of too dark. So, let's look at this mic patch. I really should be recording it from there. I don't have any mics on, do I? Oh, I do. I do have some mics that I can sync to this. I just have to turn them on. Camera 1 is directly above me. Okay, that'll pick it up enough. Swap an SSD over. Gosh, it is so dark though, isn't it? dark images just really don't show up. So we'll have to fix this. Okay. It's in, it's able to record. We're in, we're good. Let's start recording from there. And now we can transition to recording from my setup. This is where I keep my lav mic now. For probably maybe the past 6 months or so. How focused are we? We're not too bad today. I have to change the focus every single time I sit down. To the point. Because this is a nice, long, rambly personal vlog of me playing around with lights and trying to solve for things and talk through. So I started thinking about the lav mic and going, well, I've never been thrilled with it. I know that it could use an upgrade. Every lav mic I have, I've never bought separately. They've always come with things. For example, the recorder that we're going to talk about has come with a lav mic. The wireless setup here, this is a wireless pack that I use for when I am sitting and recording here in this space. This is an old one that I used. I picked that up. It came with a lav mic. Everything there has always come with a lav mic, and they've been okay, but they're not great, and I know that that could stand to be upgraded. And I've had one picked out. I typically go and identify where I would like my next upgrade to be and then put it on a wish list, and then when the time actually comes closer to, oh, I have money, then I look at it in a different light and go, is this truly the best one that I can afford? Is it, I look for different things to see whether or not it's going to be worth the money. And I got thinking about lav mics in general, and I realized last Saturday I went out and I did what I sometimes do when I'm a little bit lazier, and I just grabbed the camera and just talked straight into it, no lav mic or anything. And it's just like a quick, here I am, I'm going out, I'm looking for wildlife situation at the beginning to the video that I can then put in. And then if I do that, then I, at the end, put a lav mic on so I can talk through everything, where I've gone, what I've seen, those kind of things. And by the end of it, I went, I'm really not feeling it. And so I just didn't put a lav mic on. And I realized this week when I thought I'm going to cash out my PTO and I could get a new lav mic, it made me think about the lav mic that I'm currently using in the pack and why I haven't been using it as much. When I'm around here recording, I should be wearing one. I should have it on. It's just better audio. Every time it will always be better audio than anything else because it's so close to me here on my shirt than a shotgun mic, which is going to pick up all the background noise or anything like that. The only thing that it is trumped by is this microphone right here. This is an Audio Technica 2020, I think. It's older. I've had it for a good while, but it's been a solid microphone. I really like this one. I like the way that this one sounds. I bought a USB version of this, and it sounds okay. It's still not as good as this, but I use it for work meetings. And so I thought about the lav mic, and I realized I've played around with the lav mic a couple different times. I've done wireless, and then I had interference with wireless, so I switched to this right here, which hopefully you'll be able to see, even though it's so very dark. This is a Zoom recorder. Yeah, it'll have to do. It's a little pocket recorder. It's great. It does everything I want it to. I really like it. The only thing is that, especially when I'm going out in these cold environments, the batteries die very, very quickly. It just takes 2 AAAs, and they're dead like that. And so I don't want to be constantly doing that. So once it died a couple times when I first got it, I realized, all right, well, how do I solve for this? It's the same thing I've done for everything else. It's a battery bank, which is what this is. I use a bigger, better battery bank most of the time, and I had it in a bigger bag, and it was on my belt. I've got a big utility belt from old days, and I've broken it out and have been using it. If you've seen me walking around with things all over my belt, that's what it was, and this was on there. And then it made me realize that I either have to put the full belt on, and that belt is heavy, which I don't do at home, and when I get in the car, I can't be wearing it because it has pouches all over, and I'm just sitting on all this stuff. At one point, I was using this, and I just put it on my belt itself, like my belt that I wear with my pants. And the problem with that lasted 1 trip and 1 trip only. I got in the car, I put it on my back, I had it situated there and everything, and I sat down and I crunched the USB-C cable that was connected to the battery bank, just destroyed it. I stopped everything. I went back inside that morning, and I got the pliers out and had to dig out the little pieces. It's fine, it worked. I just destroyed a USB-C cable, which is not too bad. But it did tell me, okay, this needs to be protected a little bit better. Hence, now, It was in a big bag, and taking it, it's stupid. I recognize that it is stupid. It's like 30 seconds more work to take the big bag off the belt. But that is apparently enough work mentally where I don't do it because I haven't been using it as much. I can recall one personal vlog, and I believe it was the one. I've used a couple lav mics here and there, like the one when I was doing the PC stuff, I had a lav mic on, but that was just connected straight to my phone. And it works, but it's not the most ideal. I don't have any control over it. I don't have a separate audio track for that or anything, and this is just a nice, good thing. But because of the big pouch, it doesn't fit in a pocket. I just haven't been using it. Enter this. This, I highly doubt you're going to recognize it, and I really don't think you'll be able to read the text that's on here because my thumb is covering it and because it's tiny, is a Nintendo DS pouch. So here's what happens. I have this thought while I'm at work. I realize, okay, money. Where does money go? Oh, money can get me a new lav mic. Okay, what's wrong with my current lav mic? Oh, well, I'm not using it as much. Why am I not using it as much? And I think through all this, and then on my lunch break, I dig out the big pouch and I pull this out and I start looking at everything, and I'm looking at the bigger battery bank that I was using and how it needs to hold the microphone itself, which is a cabled. It needs to hold my earpiece, which is a cable. And then the battery bank and all that needs to be in there. It needs to really be zip up so that the cables can run out the top. And I'm thinking on it and I'm thinking on it, and I can't come with any solutions. And I'm looking online to try to figure out, well, I have a different pouch that I'm looking at. It's not this one, it's one that came with a rangefinder that I take sometimes, and because I take the rangefinder in a different pouch, I have a free pouch available. So now I'm playing with pouches, and I'm looking at this and I go, it's just not, in order, I need a smaller battery bank. I need something slightly less tall, and everything, all battery banks are made to go with cell phones, and they're made to be about the size of a cell phone, so they are tall, and then they don't fit in pouches very well. I managed to get lucky. I've got this older, smaller one, which I'm testing now to see how the battery life is, because it's definitely better than the AAAs, but I just want to see about how long it'll last. That other one has been fantastic. It's just too tall. I can't put it in here. It barely fits in here. Like, it is a stretch to put the bigger one in here, and then there's no room for a USB-C cable. This one has the cable with enough room that it can make an angle. It's a hard angle, but it's enough of an angle, and I don't think it's that hard. It's not putting too much pressure on it, hopefully. We'll find out. It's just a USB-C cable, so I'm really not too worried about it if I break another one. But it's working. It's on. It's recording. I don't know if you can see the little red light. It is currently going, and it can fit in my pocket, so now I can take it in this. It's such a silly little thing, but I really genuinely feel like I'll put more use into it, and I'll use it more now because it's readily available. It's here in a pouch. I can take it, I can put it in my pocket like I've done all of today so far. I can be recording with it here and everything, and I'm not futzing about with batteries. I'm not worried about whether or not it's going to get bumped. It's on, it's recording, it's going. And so I'll get a new lav mic to go with this. I see this, I work out at the end of a work day. I get on the bike and I play games, and I ride the exercise bike, and I'm in my closet and I'm doing that, and I'm looking around, I'm trying to solve for this. I'm looking online trying to see if I can get smaller battery banks to fit in different things, and I look around and I see my storage tote full of DS's, Game Boys, things like that, and I see the pouch and I go, ooh, that looks like it could be the right size. And I take everything out of it. I take the DS out, and it actually is made for, I think it's not the original, it's like the DS Lite, which was slightly smaller, and it fits it perfectly. There's enough room on the inside for the battery bank, for all the cables that need to be in here, and for the recorder. The only thing it doesn't do is it doesn't have like a strap on it to put it on the belt itself, which is good and bad. Like, it would cut down on the other battery bank that like the other big pouch with the battery bank that I'm carrying currently, but it does work. And so this just fits into that other pouch, so it's like nesting pouches. So, all that to say, it got me in a mood where I realized I need to upgrade the audio stuff. I can do that, and I'm excited for it. So I'm gonna get a new lav mic. I'm waiting. I'm not gonna buy it yet. It's December 16th. I'll get paid out at the end of the year, right? It'll be like the first paycheck of January, where I should get my PTO. So I'll have the money then. So I'll order it closer to that point. The lav mic is $250, which is pricey. but it's not nearly as expensive as some of them. I started looking into some really good mics, and they're like 500 or 1,000 or $1,200. No, 250 is a good step up from the fact that everything else I bought has been cheaper. I mean, all the ones that have come with them have been cheaper. This should be good, and people specifically recommend to this recorder. They go, okay, so I've got this stuff. What would you recommend for a good upgrade? Like, what's the next step up? And I've read specifically this brand of microphone. We'll get into it probably more later. I do plan on doing, I did them years ago at this point, and I've gotten so many new things since then, and I recognize that it's twofold. There are more people out there who are like me and interested in the equipment and want to do that side of it than there are who are interested in the product of it. More people want to be wildlife photographers than want to see other wildlife photographers, and I can't blame them. I don't go looking at other wildlife photographers because it bums me out that I'm not as good as that. I compare them too harshly. I compare myself too harshly, so I don't go looking at others. I focus only on myself. But I recognize that those videos that I made about the gear, what I take, what cameras I use, and why I use them, and things like that, have been more popular than any of the wildlife stuff for the most part. So I did want to do them again because I've gotten many new things, and for me, it's two reasons. One, it's a history of me, as is everything I do, is documenting my journey along this. And two, I enjoy well, I guess it's three things then, because two, I enjoy the gear side of it as well. I like getting, I know that's not the best it should be, and I look at it from two perspectives. When I get a new piece of equipment, it is not only an appreciation for the equipment itself, and it's a cool new gadget, and it's fun, and I like that, and it's kind of kid on Christmas when I get to open it up, but it is also, what can I do with it? I see it as ooh, this is really cool for what I'm going to be able to use it for and produce out of it. So I really like having that as well. That's a really cool side of it. But the third thing is that people are also more interested in that. There are more people who are out there looking for that kind of stuff. It will get more views and etc. So I've been meaning to do that. I've had it on my list for probably almost a year to update, and just haven't gotten around to it. So maybe we'll be doing that in the coming months. But new lav mic. $250. A couple of accessories, get it closer to $300, but not quite. Well, what do I do with the leftover? Do I use it wisely and put it into savings? No, of course not. We're talking about bonus money. We're talking about free money. And we're talking about me. I put money every month towards paying off my bills. What are we going to do? We're going to upgrade this. I've picked out a really nice microphone for about $300. Now, if you're counting at home, that puts us to $600. It's okay. I've got a plan for that. I'm going to work a little extra because on our weeks which are holidays, which will be New Year's, which will be that first week I come back, we just get 8 hours of holiday pay straight up. The job that I work, I just, like, regardless of how many hours you work, here's your, how many days of holiday it is, here's your thing. So if I do a 40-hour week normally, I'll get 48 hours of pay. It's not double, it's not overtime, it's not double time or anything like that, but I'll just get an extra 8 hours. That'll give me the extra 100 I need. So now we're talking $600, and we're talking about $250, $300 to spend on lav and accessories, and then $300 to spend on a new recording mic for this, which is perfect for so many things. One, it's going to be able to make this sound even better. This I like, but as everything plays out the way it is, because this was not quite $200, I think. I think it was like the $150, $170 range when I bought it. It may have been on sale. It's been many, many years, but it's been a fantastically solid microphone the entire time. You know what hasn't been a good microphone? The one that's over at my editing computer when I sit down to record there. That is a cheap little thing. I bought a set of 3 Behringer, essentially they're like SM58s, is more standard, but that's a different brand. But that's like your classic theater, just when you picture a microphone, that's what it is for a handheld microphone. And it works when it's right up here, and I just don't have a way to put it right up there. And also I don't want a mic that close. I wind up breathing too much. I'm a very breathy person, so it doesn't work ideal, but it's something over there for me to record. I recorded something the other week when I was at my computer, and I listened back to the audio and I went, at least it's just for the editing. It's not meant to be a full thing. It's not ideal, but in this process, everything transitions down. The lav mic I'm currently wearing will just sit because I already have one. I have a second lav mic that came with something else that will be useful for this setup here. So it's not like that's going to upgrade, but my upgrade will be to get a lav mic, and I'll use it when I'm going out and doing vlogs and wildlife and things like that. And then this will get upgraded by new microphone, and then this microphone will move over to editing, and I can get rid of the little SM58 essentially. That's my plan. Thanks for staying to the entire end of the video to hear the most exciting part, in my opinion, as opposed to, now I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with this light situation to fix this, because it's just not enough. There's just not enough light here in the middle for you to see what I'm talking about. And I'm doing it to myself because I'm hurting myself because I want the light table part of it. But I don't want the light to be too bright here. If it's too harsh here, if I raise the ISO out the table, then it's just blinding. It's just pure white. It's not a nice soft white. And I've done everything I can to dim that light down with the different filters or screens I put on there and stuff. Anyway, that will be my project for today. I got things to edit from last weekend, so I'm gonna go hop on that. I'll throw this thing together. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I tried to do these as easily as possible. Maybe it'll be picture in picture or side by side or something until I get to this part. That's for future Michael to worry about, and then he'll start looking into what I can reasonably get to replace these things here with whatever leftover money there is from Christmas, essentially. But anyway, that's what I've been up to. I've been playing, the new Pokemon is out, so I am playing Pokemon, and I'll talk about that more in Pokemon videos since I record that separately. Had a good Thanksgiving, and since then I've just been playing games with people more regularly. That kind of was our stepping stone back into family gaming, and so now, most weekends we are playing together at some point. We're talking a lot more about games, and other people are playing Minecraft, which I've been bored with, so I haven't been playing, but I'll get on headset at the same time. And that's what I'll do this weekend as well. I may record something on Monday. I've got it in my head of what I could do. But anyway, that's where I'm currently at. We are in the middle of December. I did go out last weekend. It wasn't ideal. We are still struggling to find a location where I can go set up the big video stuff, which is what I've been itching to do for a while. I really haven't used those cameras much. Yeah. Cool. That'll do it, I think. That is what I was going to do. I wanted to try it before the sun rose, so I wanted to record it first thing to really see if I could narrow down what I can do with these lights. And the answer is basically nothing. They're just not powerful enough to brighten up what I need here on the tabletop without putting too much light on everything. I'm okay right now. I'm not overexposed. I did shave yesterday, so there's a bit of shine off the head. But for the most part, it's not too bad. What just dimmed? Sorry, I'm looking at the screen and something just dimmed, and I can't tell if it was the camera or the TV. I had the TV set up where it was doing this auto brightness thing, and I hated that. I had to turn that off because I could not see anything. Alright. That's a personal vlog. New stuff coming soon. New equipment. New microphone. Happy Michael. Good times. Upgrades. Slight here and there. And then I'll just get back out there and keep seeing what I can see. I might do that on Monday too. I thought about that. That's a let's go scout some locations. Try to figure out what I can do. Alright. Thanks for watching. Listening. However you do it. I hope everything's been recording this whole time, because I kind of slapdash got it together so I'd be able to get it done before the sun came up. Oof, this took me a lot longer than I thought it was going to. I wonder what my recording time is. I didn't think it was going to be that long. I was like, oh, 15-20 minutes is long enough for me to just talk about the fact that I have a little bit of money coming in. I'm going to buy some new audio equipment, and I want to fix this light situation and put it to something better, and apparently the light situation just fell flat on its face. Now I'm just repeating myself, so I'm going to go. We're going to stop the recording there, and once that transition's over, I'm going to put it back into here. I'm going to stop the recording here, and hope that this did its job the entire time. And then we're going to go get that one. We're going to stop the recording there. And then later today, when I feel like it, we're going to come back and we're going to fix this setup. I'm going to clean up the umbrellas and stuff. I'm still going. I said bye. I said I was done, and yet I'm still going. Why? Why am I doing this? What am I doing to myself? I'll put this back. I guess we're recording up until we get the end of this one, too. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming along, joining on this. And now I'll go. 49 minutes. Oof.